If you lose your children at this time of grief, you are likely to lose them forever, says our guest. She also says that widowhood is a journey that you do not get a manual. This is part of a conversation with our guest on Relatable with Lucy this week, a second episode on a series on loss and grief. Please keep tuned in. So today we host Rosebell Maina. Rosebell Maina is a former banker, currently a baker. She is a mother of two, a daughter that is 19 years old and a boy that is 15 years old. Rosebell has been widowed for the last 11 and a half years. And today she will be talking to us about her journey through loss and grief. And hopefully that you will be inspired with hope and encouragement. Welcome, Rosebell.
Thank you, Lucy.
Yeah, it's a pleasure to have you.
Pleasure to meet you too again.
A psychiatrist by the name Kluba Ross says of loss and grief that you never get over loss of a loved one.
Yes.
You just learn to live with it.
Yes.
You heal and you become whole, but things never remain the same again. As you talk to us about loss and grief and how your journey has been, do these words of Kubla Ross resonate with you?
Yes, they do. Because when you lose a loved one, it was part of you. Especially if it was a husband, that was part of you. So you've lost, it's as if you've lost something, a part of your body, a part of your being. So it's never easy. We just learn to live with it.
And now it has been 11 and a half years. At that time, your children were young. One must have been 4 years. Three.
The one was 8.
The one was 8 years. How was it for you managing your children to support them through grief and grieving yourself?
It's never an easy experience. It's very hard. Because one, as a mother, you don't want to cry in front of your children. They were too young. Like my son was too young to understand why there were so many people in the house, why mommy is crying often, why she's screaming, why we had to go to and put a coffin in a grave. He never understood it. But for my daughter, she was 8 and they were very close with the dad. So for her, she understood and she was very bitter about it. So we are 3 people in a house having feelings that are not in tune. We are not bonding that time. So it's a bad experience and a bad one. And then after a funeral, there's some other things that came up with the in-laws and the like, and so it is a mixture of everything. You want to cry, you want to be strong, you want to be there for the children. You're not strong enough even to talk to anybody. People are not understanding you, and you think also you're not understanding people. So what happens, you close yourself in, and that is what we did. We closed ourselves in, and for about 3 months we stayed on our own, apart from the close relatives, my mom and my sisters who used to visit, but for the rest of the world we closed it out.
I imagine that is part of the grieving process.
Yes.
Just enabling yourself to manage without being people close to you.
Yes.
What were the specific things that you did to be able to support the children? Because I imagine it was without ignoring that you were also needing support. What were the specific things that you did to support your children?
One thing I decided is to be close to them. Because if you lose them at that time, you lose them forever. So what I did is to make sure that we sit down and talk. Even for the 3-year-old who never understood what was happening. My husband used to come over the weekends. He used to work in Nyeri. We were in Nairobi. So he used to come over the weekends. So for him, for the 3-year-old, he was not very close to the dad because he was still young. So but what I did is to make them close to me. Ensure that I'm there for them. From work, direct home. Every place I go, I never used to go without them. And then we used to talk and just talk and talk about the dad. Talk even when they don't want. When we cry, we talked and talked and talked. Sleep with them on the same bed. for very many years. I can't even remember up to when, until maybe my daughter was in class 8, and that one helped. But more so, it was talking to them and talking about him often. Yes.
I'm just thinking about yourself. What kind of support yourself did you have? You had the children to support through grief because that was important because you didn't want to lose them. How did you find support yourself?
I found no support. Widowhood is a journey that you don't get a manual. And there's nobody who came to me to tell me that, Rosebell, now that your husband has died, you're supposed to leave this and this and that. Okay, unfortunately, even the church doesn't tell us, how are you going to live from now that you've buried your husband? What are you going to do? It is a journey you discover on your own. You discover if you are going to avoid this and this and this. You are going to have, and most of the things that you do is to avoid people, to avoid couples, to avoid a place that people are going to question, to avoid situations that people are going to pity you. Because what ails us so much is when people pity you so much. Oh yeah, and it makes you so down, and yet they are not giving you a solution on how you are supposed to walk this journey of widowhood.
Which has been the most difficult part of your journey? The most difficult part of being a widow?
The most difficult part is acceptance. You want to accept that he's gone and he's dead. He's not coming back again. That is the most difficult. And you see, for him, he was coming over the weekend. So every Saturday, I'm making chapatis. He loved them so much. So every Saturday, you are anxious. And so that was the most difficult part. The other part is where you have to show people that you are alive. What usually happens when somebody dies, people think you're also dead. They think you don't think. They think that you're also buried with him. So the other thing is to show people that I'm alive. Yes, I'm there. I'm there for my children. I'm there. I didn't die. He's the one who died.
Do you feel like you're put in a position to prove a point? Is that it?
Yes, at times you are. Because there are some situations where people would ask you, are you still staying in the same house? Are your children still going to the same school? You see, those are direct questions showing it as if you are not surviving, you are not alive, you are not there. It's as if they had written you off also. So there are times you have to prove to somebody, and at times you have to tell somebody, I'm alive, I'm not dead.
Yeah.
Yes.
Wow. Your children were very young. Like you said, one was 3, the other one was 8.
Yes.
Did and I know that the 3-year-old did not have a concept of God. Probably, maybe a really good picture, but the 8-year-old understood what God is.
Yes.
And did he like struggle to understand why did God do this?
Of course, my daughter was asking why it had to happen to her, why her, and then she loved her dad, and it affected her so much. And of course, even the society didn't make it easy for her. Because I remember this when she was in class 5, there are some girls who drew a coffin, and they told her that somebody's dad is in this coffin, and she couldn't take it. And she's an introvert, so she doesn't talk much. So I saw she's getting affected. I don't know what. So I had to take her to my mom. My mom talked to her, and that's the time now she told my mom what was happening, and we had to address it to the school. So even the society doesn't make it easy also for her. But later, as we talk and I talk to her about God and why it happens, and that she has a real father who is God, who never fails, God does this and this and this, and you ask her many things about the way she's seeing God, and now she's able to accept, and she was able to accept, yes, God is still God, and God is still good in all situations. Yes.
Wow. And for you, what were your struggles in terms of your faith, in terms of
Um, I had gotten born again when I was a girl, young. So for me to struggle with God, it was not an issue. Then I had gone through some other issues in life when I got married, and I used to read the Bible where it says, okay, there's this particular verse that says that he does what is good in his sight. And there's a certain time I was in an awkward situation, and I thought, no, maybe this one will come out well, because he says that he does what is good in his sight. So after the experience, it came a negative of whatever I was expecting. So when he passed on, I just told God, God, I thank you because you do what is good in your sight. And the Bible says that is what you wanted. And then there is this verse of Isaiah 57 verse 1 where he says that he gets the righteous so that he can deliver them from evil. And to my heart, I never questioned God, and I never had any ill thoughts about God. I knew he's still God in all situations.
Wow.
Yeah.
I think that was a good place to be, also to be able to support your children.
Yes.
Because if you're struggling with questioning God at that time, which I think sometimes it's normal because you're just being human, it would have probably been a bit more difficult for you to support them and to help them to understand that God is still on the throne.
Yes.
What would you say to the community in terms of the kind of support that they need to give to people who have lost spouses, and they have children to take care of, they have themselves to take care of, they have to, to deal with those difficult emotions of loss, and they're grieving.
The society should accept you the way you are. And if you want time, they give you time. The problem with the society is that when people come to your house, they want to offer solutions. And that time you don't want any solutions offered. When a person comes and say, I understand what you are going through, yet they've never lost a loved one. So they don't understand. So the best thing is when you come to visit a widowed person, a person who is grieving, just keep quiet. Allow them to talk. Because talking helps. Just allow them to talk. Allow them to be. Don't be so suspicious of them, because that is what we suffer in the society. They're so suspicious of us with so many things. They don't allow us to be.
Not being allowed to be.
Yes.
Yeah, because there are expectations from the society. Is that it?
Yeah, high expectations, and mostly the expectations that they have is that you might not progress. Yeah, you are not going to progress. So in case of a slight progress in your life, now this one has grown fat. When the husband was there, maybe the husband was giving her stress. You buy something she can't buy on her own. For us widows, that is what we go through. There must be somebody behind this. They don't accept. It's as if you are not accepted in the society once you lose a husband. Yes, that is the major setback that you go through.
What is this one thing that was said to you when you are suffering loss and it was just so fresh that you didn't like? And what is it that you would say about protecting children around the time of grieving?
What was said to me is questioning about my children are in an academy school. Somebody asking, are they still going to the same school? That one was a setback. Because I was wondering, was I supposed to change them school, take them to a Harambe school, or is it that they think that I am not capable of doing it? Yet you are earning, you're in a job, you're earning, and you still have a father who is in heaven, a God who says, I'm the husband to the widow, I'm the father to the fatherless, and he still provides. Those are the things that at times they set you back. When you progress in life, at times you buy a car. Why did you buy a car cash? Because the expectation is you should get a loan and buy a car. So those are some of the questions that you get, and
Well, the expectations are too high.
Yes.
On widows and widows, I guess. Yeah, so before we conclude the interview, I just would want you to what it is that you would say to people in specific things that they can do to support widows or widows, and specifically children, because for me I'm so passionate about children and adverse childhood experiences, and the experience of loss for a parent is an adverse experience for a child. What would you say people can do, practical things that they can do to help?
One would be, come to my house. Just you want to take my children out, maybe for a walk and talk to them. Just give them that assurance. Be maybe there as a father figure for them. It doesn't mean that you're coming maybe to take over, but just be there for us and for the children to see that at least we have somebody who is supportive. If it's for the in-laws, can they be there for you? Can they not focus on the property they are running after, but focus on the children, because they'll be there for them. They can be there for them. And for the what else can and for the support, we just need emotional support. Just emotional support. Just to be told, yes, Rosebell, we are praying for you. We are there for you. We are supporting you. Give me a call anytime. Visit my house anytime. Just check on us, even if it's 5 minutes. Even if we lock ourselves, just knock. We won't fail to open.
Wow. We are coming to the end of the interview, but I would want to hear from you. Where are you at right now? Where do you feel in terms the whole of this journey emotionally? Where are you at, and where are your children at themselves at?
Right now, I can say we are healed.
Yeah.
Though you can't forget the person who passed away. We talk about it freely with my children. We can discuss it.
Yeah.
The only disadvantage is my son doesn't have that memory of the dad, but my daughter has. So there are days we'll sit down and discuss it. The fun moments we had, he was a very funny guy. So the fun times we had, the way he used to love chapatis, and we can discuss without any emotions and discuss about him and even not cry. Discuss about him and we are not bitter about it. So I can say so far we are healed, though we still remember him almost every day of our lives. Yes.
Wow, that's really nice to hear. And I mean, just to get to know the point you are at right now, healing and just being able to talk about it freely, that's very positive and very encouraging. And so, Rosebell, we really appreciate your time and your willingness to come and talk to us about your journey. I hope that people will find your journey inspiring and inspiring hope and encouragement, and we'll be talking to you more in future interviews. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
So let us hear what you have to say about today's discussion down below at the comment section. As always, thank you so much for watching and see you in the next episode. Bye-bye.